Everyone talks about brisket, but these beef ribs might be the best bite in barbecue. It's time to barbecue like a boss. All right, guys, we are cooking some big Texas-style beef ribs today. We're gonna start with, it's called a 1-2-3A plate cut beef rib. That's the beef rib that stands on top of the bone. First of all, clean them up a little bit. And then on the top, there's a layer of silver skin. So we want to expose that meat. That way the smoke and the seasoning can penetrate. Because right now there's a big fat cap here. There's so much intermuscular marbling. Look, you can see all that intermuscular marbling. So we don't need this. We're gonna take that off this fat cap because what we want to do is expose the meat. You can see that marbling right there. This is USDA Choice. You can get prime or wagyu or, you know, if you want to spend a little more money, but there's so much marbling here. This is one of those cuts where I don't think you need to go to that extreme. Now, there is membrane on the back of these ribs, just like on pork ribs. This one's kind of flapped off already, but what we're going to do is leave that membrane on. There's not really any meat or anything for the seasoning or smoke to penetrate right here. What that membrane does is help hold the meat onto the bone so you can get a nice presentation. So that's the pro tip of the day. Leave the membrane on the beef ribs. For our binder today, we are going to use hot sauce. Basically allows the rub to stick to the meat. Just gives it a little pop. All right, now we're going to go with a base coat of our salt, pepper, garlic, our Boss blend. And then we're going to come on top with our Texas rub. And then my favorite part about beef ribs when I was down in Texas is the crust. They put so much black pepper on. So what we're going to do is add a little bit more black pepper just for a little black pepper crust on the outside. Then we're going to take our Temp Spike Pro. We're going to set it to 175 degrees. Once it hits 175 degrees, we're going to wrap with beef tallow and butcher paper, put it back on the smoker to 205 degrees. So now we're ready to go onto the smoker. I have the smoker set 275 degrees. This is going to take 5 to 6 hours. 4 hours to get to 175 and then another 2 hours or so to finish up and get nice and tender. All right, guys, we hit our mark at 175 degrees. You can tell that the meat has really shrunk up and the meat puffs up. It looks beautiful. It's a little bit of beef tallow. This is just rendered beef fat. This helps keep the ribs moist when they wrap up. It helps the paper be a little more pliable to really create a tight seal. So we do this kind of like brisket. We'll bring in that top piece and then fold over this side, fold it down. And then you go right over the top and right over the top. And you have a nice little package right back for the smoke. All right, guys, we hit our mark at 200 degrees. Then we let it rest for about an hour. You could turn your smoker way down. You could put it in the cooler. I put mine in the oven at 170 degrees and just let it hang out in the wrap for about an hour. We just took it out. You can see it looks amazing. Let's cut into it. It's dripping. Beautiful smoke ring. One thing I'll tell you guys about the smoke ring, if you season your meat overnight, that salt has a reaction to the meat and that brings out the smoke ring a little bit better. It's so good. The beef ribs, it's like burnt ends on a stick. It's like a whole piece of burnt ends that comes on its own lollipop. Marbled, rich, you really get that beef flavor. You can taste the salt and the seasoning that's on it. It's delicious. Now what I like to do is actually make this into a platter. Bright white onions, pickled red onions, pickled jalapenos, and bread and butter pickles. Our original mustard sauce is sweet and tangy, spicy Texas sauce. So all this pairs really good together. I love this presentation. Put them on the smoker and pair them with some beautiful condiments and you will not be disappointed.